Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. Today's video is going to be about Kurt Angle crossing the line, leaving TNA, and heading back to WWE. It seems like that is the new thing to do, is that everyone under contract with TNA is trying to hightail it back over and get under the good graces of Vince McMahon and Triple H in order to end their career on a good note. First, it was Hulk Hogan. When his contract came up, he decided that he'd be heading over. He was trying to get that WrestleMania main event, trying to get back onto the network. Sting, as a guy who's been trying to end his career for a good little while, looks as if he's going to be signing a WWE deal, and there's in talks to see what he's going to do. Honestly, I've let my opinion known when it comes to Sting. I want to see a match with Taker. I want to see him put in the Hall of Fame. And I want a 3 DVD set. And then I want him to go home and never see him again. Basically, I think that his time in TNA, wrestling in his t-shirt, has basically put him to the point of I just never really want to see him wrestle again. I think that he has enough in the tank for one match, and that match at best might not even be a great match. It just might be that I really want to see the build-up and the storyline, what I think they could do with the Taker versus Sting match more than anything else. But then the new name to come out would be Kurt Angle. When his contract is up in September, he says he's leaving his options open, and he's very open to returning to WWE. When Kurt left TNA, he left on horrible, I apologize. When Kurt left WWE to go to TNA, he left on horrible, bad terms. If you've ever seen this shoot interview from Kurt Angle, I believe it's done through RF Video, but you can buy it on RF Video or on High Spots. And basically, Kurt had very bad things. He called Vince McMahon the devil, saying that basically he went to Vince trying to get off the road in order to get off the pills that he was hooked on. And Vince said that he needed him out on the road because he needed somebody to wrestle John Cena, to get Cena over as the new champion of WWE. And he sort of felt like every time he would go to Vince was thinking that maybe he didn't want to put Cena over, and that was the reason why he was trying to get off the road, just trying to, be a guy. But basically, it came down to it. When Angle got released, there was a whole bunch of stories, whether maybe he'd failed his third drug test, and WWE was trying to cover up for him. But basically, he was released to go home and do what he needed to do. And in that time period, he just surprisingly signed with TNA. The story, all that was out there was that WWE and Angle were breaking terms, and it was on good terms. And just like with Jeff Hardy, when he was ready to come back, he'd come back, and then he'd be a WWE superstar again. But surprise, here he is on Spike TV. I don't know. He had a great career. He wrestled for TNA longer than he ever wrestled for WWE. He was always the best match on the card. Basically, anything they did with the guy, if he was in a faction, if he was a singles guy, if he was in a tag team, the whole basis of TNA was built around Kurt Angle. The second he went in and he killed Samoa Joe, they tried to make Joe look as good as Angle, but Angle sort of left Joe in the dust, and what was their big star and they were building up in Samoa Joe was sort of crumpled down. And just sort of left to sort of like, we'll build you up every once in a while, but Angle's always going to be our main guy. And then they always had the icon Sting as sort of like that, the Hall of Famer, maybe like the Hulk Hogan guy that brought people in to see what he was doing at the same point. But for Angle to be going back to WWE, honestly, in my mind, is just a real big, question mark. People are already wanting, Sting to be more part of the roster. There's been storylines of him going around as maybe being a weekly Raw guy that's like a Raw GM sort of thing, and I'm like, well, Angle sure isn't going in to wrestle. He's been wrestling a few matches for Impact here and there, and as you saw in the UK tour, he had to leave in a wheelchair from wrestling a match, and his body is bruised, it's beaten up. He needs knee surgery right now, and what are they really going to have to do? I mean, if you want to see Kurt Angle wrestle one more match, are you going to have Kurt Angle go through what Hulk Hogan went through trying to get that one last match for him, where Hogan was basically in and out of the doctor, getting surgeries on his knees, his hips, his back, just trying to get his body ready for one more match, knowing that when he went back and had that match, he was going to go through everything that he had to go through just in order to get back to where he could live comfortably for the rest of his life. At one point, do you just really draw the line and say, Kurt, you had a really great career, but there's no more wrestling matches for you in the future, and I think that's basically what's going to happen. WWE really wanted to have Hulk Hogan be a part of a WrestleMania. There were stories out there where they was going to wrestle a tag match with Cena, wrestle a match against Cena, wrestle like a 6-man tag where they saved Daniel Bryan from the Wyatt family. They really, really wanted him to be a part of WrestleMania, but he wasn't able to pass the physical test that he had to pass in order to get on the card of WrestleMania. Kurt Angle, I believe, his body is more beaten up than Hulk Hogan's ever was. From the style of matches, Kurt always went out there and gave 100%. He'll jump off the top of a cage. He'll land on his head during the match. Hogan really just went out there, posed for the crowd, got beat down a little bit in the ring, dropped the leg drop, and it was over. Hulk Hogan's one of my favorite guys of all time, but none of his real matches are really, really big classics, unless he really, really has a huge crowd behind him in order to get there. Hogan's wrestled some of the best wrestling classics, that are out there, and the matches themselves really just never really come across as being, 5-star classics. The match with him and Warrior is a match that I want to watch every once in a while, but mostly it's that WrestleMania crowd behind it where it was 50-50, where there was a big part of the crowd that wanted Hogan to win, and there was basically a big, huge part of the crowd that wanted Angle to win. Their two style of matches are just way different, and from the gate, Angle wasn't going to be able to wrestle a real long career anyways, from breaking his neck in the Olympics. That's going to take a good chunk out of it right there, and limit you to what you can and can't do. But Kurt always pushed the limits, and just you went for it. If Angle comes in, I can't even really think of a person that I want to see him wrestle more than Daniel Bryan, and I just don't know if I really want to see that match. I don't know. I'm torn. I could go either way. He's definitely, if his contract doesn't end until September, he'd have to get surgery. Maybe he'd be ready for WrestleMania 31. But at that point, if you don't have him on 31, do you just put him on some SummerSlam or Payback or something along the way, or do you just hold on to him for something special, hoping that come WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, they can put him on that card there? And that just seems like a whole long time for Kurt Angle to be sitting around not doing anything. And I know that you could put this guy like on the network with some specials where maybe he does like a 1 hour best of Kurt Angle, or something maybe. Kurt Angle never got a DVD. He did get a VHS tape put out very early in his career. I have it. I have it on a scanned on DVD, but I haven't watched it in a good while. Maybe I'll pop that in and do a review on it to see what's actually on there. But I mean, I know that, like I said, he wrestled a huge part of his career more in TNA than WWE. TNA, for some reason, doesn't want to do greatest hits DVDs on the wrestlers. AJ Styles has 2, but they were put out years ago. Jeff Hardy has 2. One from the first part of his TNA stint, and he has another one when he first came back. But it seems like with that Kurt Angle best of, it's all the stuff from when he first came in, trying to rush that DVD out and get it out. It was like as soon as they could fill the DVD up with matches, that just sell it. And they've been selling that thing for like 7 years now. And it's just sort of like a slap in the face that they haven't been able to come out with it. They gave Jeff Jarrett a 3-disc set. It might even be a 4-disc set from all the main events that he had. Why they haven't packaged it up for $20? You get 3 discs of Kurt Angle matches. I don't know. It seems like easy money that TNA could be making. It could be easy $5 if you wait till the November sale. But that's about it. What do you want to see Kurt Angle come back for? I don't want to see him. I know he was SmackDown GM in the past, but I don't really want to see him as a GM. If he's not going to wrestle, I don't want to see him. Maybe you have him do some specials, but I see. If Kurt Angle is not going to be able to wrestle for WWE, I see him sticking with TNA for the one reason is no matter how much or how little they can afford to pay him, they'll still let him wrestle, and they can let that competitive juice flow out of his body. This is Stevie Breach. Peace out.